Matt Bernier, joined by DRF's national handicapper Mike Watchmaker, the second of three for this Saturday's Weekend Warrior. It's opening Saturday at Gulfstream Park, real Gulfstream, not Gulfstream Park West. And as always the case, it's the Claiming Crown situation where you've got a number of races, and this is basically the day dedicated to the old hard hitters. This race is open to horses that have run in races that have had a claiming tag of $35,000 or less since January the 1st, 2016. It's a $200,000 purse. It's nice to see the blue-collar horses get their day. Mike, you're going to go right to the inside with the number one channel.
I am. Matt, anybody handicapping this race has got to realize this is a 1 1/8 race on the main track at Gulfstream Park. And anybody with even passing familiarity of Gulfstream knows that, should know at least, that outside post positions in 1 1/8 races at Gulfstream Park are an enormous disadvantage. I mean, they're just terrible because of the short run to the first turn. And it's very, very easy to get caught 3, 4, 5, 6 wide on that first turn at Gulfstream, and that's just a disadvantage that is often impossible to overcome. This race is a 1 1/8, and to me, these type of races at Gulfstream boil down to horses that have good position around the first turn, and Chunnell's breaking from the rail. I mean, you can't ask for a better post position in this huge field. He's a horse with reasonable positional speed, so I don't think he necessarily can get shuffled back in the run to the first turn. I mean, the horses that breaking to his adjacent posts are not particularly fast, so I think he's going to pull a really sweet inside pocket trip. Of course, none of this would really matter if he couldn't run, but Chunnell can run. I mean, for his current trainer, he's 4 for 5. He's won 3 straight. His last race was his best yet, at least in terms of buyer speed figures. He got a 90 buyer speed figure and a blowout win in Parks in his most recent appearance. And that 90 buyer makes him very competitive with everybody in this field, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of stakes starts in his past performances, and a bunch of his other opponents do. But a bunch of his other opponents may have run in stakes races, but they didn't run especially well in those races. So, I'm kind of hoping the betting public, gets sort of disoriented with all the horses in this races and goes for a horse with stronger class lines, because I just think Chunnell's in raging form. He's going to pull a great trip, and I think he's plenty good enough to win this race.
The most polarizing horse in the race has to be the number 6 Gigantic Breeze. This is a horse that most recently was a winner of a Grade 2 race up at Woodbine, and that's kind of the key to this entire horse, where through 17 lifetime starts, he's never set foot on a dirt track in his career. He's likely to be one of, if not the outright favorite. He has all the figs. I mean, is this the kind of horse that you're interested in using, or do you look at it and say, prove to me that you can step on dirt?
The latter for me, Matt. He might win. He might be simply the best horse, and he might handle dirt as well as he's handled Woodbine Synthetic Racetrack in all his recent starts. But I don't know. And in a race like this, why would I want to take a relatively short price on a horse who's a total, complete unknown on the surface they're running this race on? I mean, I just don't. And he's a horse that won't be on any of my tickets.
Turco Bravo, you could make the case, is arguably the class of the field. He's run against some much better company than he's going to be facing on Saturday afternoon. He was in for 32,000, 3 starts back. He was claimed, came back, almost won the Temperance Hill at 1 5/8 at Belmont. Do you think that a racetrack like Gulfstream is going to be conducive to a horse like Turco Bravo, who seems like he's just very long-winded?
Well, no, I don't think so. I would think opening day the track will be pretty glib. And the other thing is, Turco Bravo, if you just take a cursory glance at his past performances, you would say, well, he's got kind of position early speed. He might draw a trip similar to the one that Chunnell is going to draw in here. Well, those displays of positional speed came in races at marathon distances, and this is going to be a significant, big-time cutback in distance for him, and he's going to encounter an early pace that, even for a 1 1/8, is going to be much faster than he's accustomed to, and I think he's going to find himself much further back in the early going than you might think, and I also question his current form as well. Turco Bravo is another horse that I'm kind of leaning against here.
Big, bulky field for race 11. Anybody else that you're interested in?
I'm interested a little bit in Diamond Bachelor. It concerns me that Diamond Bachelor was in better form last year at this time than he is right now. But, Diamond Bachelor is a horse much like Gigantic Breeze, never won on dirt. and Diamond Bachelor's had 14 starts on faster tracks, but he was a narrowly beaten second in this race last year, and he ran giant. He was 38-1 in that day. He's got enough speed to not lose a lot of ground around the first turn. He's breaking from post 4. I think he's going to draw a good trip, and I think he's a horse that's, might hit the board at a square ticket because his current form isn't particularly good.
The Claiming Crown Jewel is race number 11 on opening day at Gulfstream Park. Mike is going to go right to the inside with the number 1 Channel for Jorge Navarro and Nick Juarez. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the third and final race for this Saturday's Weekend Warrior. Back to Aqueduct. Time to take a look at some 2-year-olds. It's the Remsen.